Today I'm going to talk about different returns from different asset classes. I'm going to use some examples based from 1995. I'm looking at a chart here that Vanguard produces each year at the end of the financial year, and this is as at 30th of June 2025, but I know that you can go back approximately 50 years on their website, so you can get further data and you can bring it smack bang up to date. But this is really just to give you a rough idea. I'd say looking at the past back to 1995 gives you a really good indication. And I suppose the only major difference, if you do go back the full 50 years, is I do notice the US returns are actually slightly higher than what I'm going to quote, as are, I believe, the Australian shares. Property comes in at roughly the same, and I believe everything else will be roughly the same, although cash may be potentially a little bit higher over that slightly longer average. Now, essentially, there's a number of different asset classes that you can invest in. The main three are shares, property, and cash. If I break this down further, just utilizing this chart, so just so you know that where the data is coming from, it is from that Vanguard chart that I'm looking at the moment, as at the end of 30th June 2025, going all the way back to the start of the financial year in 95. Looking at US shares, they have averaged 10.8% per annum over that time period. Next up, we have Australian shares at 9.3%. International shares as a whole at 8.3%. And then we have Australian listed property at 8%. I've always thought that property over here generally runs at 7%, which accounts for the fact that it does tend to double every 10 years. But here this chart is telling me at 8%. This is, however, listed property versus obviously, just your normal buying and selling that we don't have a listed exchange for. It's just reported obviously to places like Landgate in WA, for example. Next up, we have Australian bonds. They've averaged at 5.5%. Cash has averaged at 4.1%. And it's saying here that the inflation rate has been on average 2.6, which is generally about where the RBA is looking to maintain CPI or inflation, where they have that 2 to 3% target. Thank you.